Now I have two more videos which shows how the inventory is managed in the Amazon fulfillment center and the Flipkart center. That we will see at the end of this presentation after covering some theory part. Now, why the inventory management is important? So, you consider this are a type of a balance. Suppose there is an excess inventory associated with a system that will leads to the blocking of your capital. The unwanted inventory holding cost will be there, chance of obsolete. Perishable items are associated with your product delivery, then there will be chance for the obsolete. So that is a drawback associated with the excess inventory. But the positive side also is there, because you are able to meet the customer demand on time, because you are keeping that much inventory with you. And if there is a shortage of inventory, on the other hand, if there is a chance for the shortage of inventory, that may lead to inability to fulfill the customer's demand on time. So there is a chance for the loss of sale for the back order. So that may happen in case of a shortage of inventory. So the inventory management is actually what is doing. There is a optimal level of inventory will ensure through a proper inventory management. That is why in every facility there should be a proper inventory management system. So you have a proper inventory management system, then your inventory will be managed in the optimal level, not too excess, not too short. So to keep the inventory in optimal level, we need to answer for two questions. So that's why the inventory management is concerned with two questions: when to order. So this is regarding the time period, and how much to order. This is regarding the quantity, how much to order. So decide the reorder point, the level of inventory which signals to need to be replenished. There is a time period. And second, regarding the quantity, if we are implementing a good rule or a policy to answer these questions in an effective way, then we can manage the inventory in a proper way. So because we are answering how much to order and when to order. So that is the main inventory management concern. Now, if you have a proper inventory management, order will be fulfilled on time, protection against uncertainties, and avoid loss of tail or due to the out of stock items, and avoiding sending wrong product because you are keeping the right item in your store. Then meeting the fluctuations may happen, some disaster, when natural calamity, or maybe some festivals are there, seasonal demands will be there. So these are some of the fluctuations happening in the customer demand behavior. Okay. So such kind of actions are there. Then if you have optimal level of inventory, then we can the system to optimize the level of to manage the inventory, then we can manage the supply chain in a proper way, and also helpful to stay competitive in the dynamic industry. That is the advantage of inventory, proper inventory management. And inventory management, why it is very what's the role in supply chain? So inventory management role in supply chain is that facilitating balancing of demand and supply. Now, a poorly managed inventory is one of the major reasons for small business to fail, because when we are considering our MSMEs or small business, they may not be aware about all these theoretical jargons and all. There may not be any proper inventory management system. There may be several reasons will be there. To fund issues may be there to implement a good inventory management software or something that. If as they are not giving too much importance to these inventory management principles, there's a chance to fail. So 46% of small business with 11 to 419 employees don't have any kind of system to track their goods. Okay. So that leads to the failure of their business. Now, so in the supply chain, the lifeblood of business is dedicated inventory management system. Now, some of the cases we can see in the history to the poor inventory management, what happens to their business. Two, three examples, case studies we can see. This is the incident which has happened on 1982, Atari City game. Some of you maybe heard about it. So actually, without looking to the customer's behavior, they suffered one of the worst inventory disasters happening. What has happened is that they produced CDs during that time, produced 5 million copies of the to foreseeing the holiday season. They produced around 5 million copies, but they were able to sell only 2 million. Finally, what has happened is that their remaining copies are they abandoned and dumped millions of copies and subsequently landfill purpose. Okay, so due to the lack of foreseeing the customer behavior, the large quantity around 5 millions they are produced, and finally they are able to sold only 2 million. Remaining are uh, become a heavy loss for them. So one thing happened in the 1982. Now the in 2000 there is another incident which is related to next excess inventory problem. So there depends upon for inventory management. So there depends upon one software which is developed by I2 technologies. There are some bugs associated with this or errors associated with the software. Due to that error, the software predicted for a to keep large inventory in their store. So the forecast was incorrect. So without a thorough checking, what the software mentioned, they implemented the huge inventory stock. Finally, there is a loss of $100 million or around 20% loss in the market. It's another incident happened in 2000. And in 2001, Cisco's inventory disaster. In 2001, what is happening? The Cisco, they are the pioneers in the electronic manufacturing, and they began to face barriers in their supply chain. So the telecommunication industry faced a downturn. Cisco didn't adjust the supply chain accordingly. So they also faced some issues in their supply chain. Though going to without proper foreseeing, they produce large. So there is a downfall in the telecommunication industry. They need to around $2.2 billion inventory write-off on stock price cut. That is the issue happened in 2001. Then another in 2015 is known as the targets. That is one of the supermarket giant. They need to face a out of stock catastrophe in Canada. Actually, there is a actually one mismatch. This is actually they are the leading. Targets are the leaders in the US. When they started their supermarket outlets in Canada, there is a small misunderstanding regarding the shelf size, because in a 2 foot in the US means the 2 foot deep shelf, but in Canada around it is 60.96 centimeters. So due to a small issue, there accumulated their inventory loss of around 2.5 billion losses in their uh, supermarket area. So that is happened too. So they are not able to handle their inventory systems, which has happened in 2015 related to the targets out of stock scenario. Then another is a KFC branches closed down in the UK. That is in 2018. Another issue was due to their mismanagement or miscommunication between their vendors, due to the inventories accumulated. That again become a problem to this KFC. Now the many more events, if you search through the net, you can find out many more events. Even after 2016 also there are so many events are there. So you can see the mismanagement of inventory leads to the collapse of supply chain. Now that's about the supply role of inventory management supply chain. Just I mentioned. Now let us look onto the various supply chain measures, because the supply chain consists of various entities. So in order to achieve the performance, so when there is a performance, we need to measure. How can you compare one supply chain with another supply chain? Only by comparing the performance. So in order to compare the performance, first we need to identify which are the performance measures. So according to that only we can compare. So that is the first performance measure. So the performance process for quantifying the effectiveness and efficiency of an action. So the major supply chain performance are, let us see, the major supply chain performance are supply chain fill rate, will be perfect, and supply chain cost. So what's the supply chain fill rate? The person, suppose you consider this supply chain, it's a linear supply chain. The downstream we have the customers, and the upstream we have the supplier. Okay, so the fill rate, the percentage of, suppose the customer is asking 100 items in a 1 week from a retailer. If the retailer is able to provide that 100 items without any delay, that is the number of orders met. Suppose the customer is asking 100 and the retailer is able to giving 100, then we can say that the rate, we can express it as a percentage, it is a 100%. So that is whatever the customer is asking, the retailer is able to provide. Whatever the retailer is asking, the distributor is able to provide. Whatever the distributor is asking, the manufacturer is able. If it is all are 100%, then we can say that it is a good supply chain. Then in reality, it won't work like that. There may be fill rate may be below 100%. So a good supply chain will have a higher fill rate. So the fill rate, we can be say that the higher the better performance measure when you compare to supply chain. So this may be a first supply chain. There may be another supply chain having a 95% fill rate, another supply chain having an 80% fill rate, like that. So we can compare which supply chain is having the highest fill rate. That is one of the performance measure. The next performance measure, this will be perfect. Just the picture which is I am showing, there is a bullwhip piece there. If you are familiar with the behavior of the bullwhip, which is used to control the flow or the control the bullock cart, we can say that at the this end the flow will be, or the what we can say that suppose we consider that like this. At this end, the amplitude will be very less. Amplitude will be less. At the this end, the amplitude is very high. When we are taking into account of a bullock cart, bullwhip, which is used to control a bullock cart. So this phenomena, that is the one end, the amplitude is very less, but as it is moving upward, the amplitude is increasing very large. So this phenomena we can observe in a supply chain. So that is why this performance measure is known as the bullwhip effect. Then what is this bullwhip effect? Let us see through an example. Suppose you consider, just I am to explain this example. Suppose one of the student in our Polytechnic want a particular kind of perfume, and what is happening, he may be visiting nearby store. Not we are not depending, assume that we are not depending on any e-commerce sites, Amazon or Flipkart. His passion is to visit any retail store physically. So he may be visiting the retail store in Iringalakuda. Maybe that item may not be available there. Sometimes he may go to the Mannuthi, in retail store is there. There also the item may be available. Then he may go to the Ullur. Then there also suppose item is not available. Then finally he visited one retail shop in Chalakudi. Then the item he received, then he is satisfied, he is happy. Then you think that the retail shop, the Chalakudi, Ullur, Mannuthi in Irinjalikuda, they are coming on the retailer stage of a supply chain. Now you consider the distributor. Suppose you assume that the retailers are getting this perfume from the distributor, which is situated at Cochin, the single distributor situated at Cochin. Then what is happened when a customer visiting the shop at Iringalakuda, what is he is thinking? He may ask where you are coming. Suppose he is saying I am coming from this Polytechnic. There are a lot of boys students are there. then he may think in next day or the coming days there's a chance to come more students to purchase this kind of perfume or any other product. Then even if only one student is coming, the retail shop at Iringalakuda may making an order of 15 quantity to the distributor center at Cochin. The same level of thinking happening in the retailer shop at the Manuti. He may order 10 quantities because all are anticipated, because they don't know whether there's a chance to come. And also Ullur also he may order for 5. Chalakuda also he may order for 10. So finally what is happening? The Cochin, how much quantity he is getting as order? He is getting order 15 plus 10, 25 plus 30%. That is a 50 he is getting an order. Actually, only one demand arises from this end. With this, the Cochin is getting a 50 units. The Cochin distributor may order 60 units to the Mumbai. Then what is happening finally? Actual demand was 1, but actually forecasted finally reaches to the factory 60. So there is an amplification. At this end only 1, but when it reaches to the Mumbai, it reaches to 60. So there is an amplification. So this we can analogy with your bullock cart, which is used for bullock cart. So there is an amplification. It's actually a negative effect for the supply chain. So that is it is known as the bullwhip effect generation in supply chain. So it's a phenomena which I just explained. Customer, it is order maybe 1, when it reaches to the supplier, maybe 100 or 60 something. So this is another performance. This is actually a negative or lower the better the bullwhip effect is good for a supply chain. Then next is the next performance measure is supply chain cost. The cost, you may be familiar with the EOQ terms, the cost items, the storage cost, shortage cost, and the ordering cost, the transportation cost. So the summation of all this cost will be the supply chain cost. So lower the supply chain, that will be better for your operation of your supply chain. So we have the fill rate is there, bullwhip effect is there, and supply chain cost is there. Higher the fill rate is better, lower the bullwhip effect and lower the supply chain cost is better for a good supply chain. So when we are comparing two supply chains, 2 or more supply chain, we can comparing using these performance measures. Now there are a lot of performance measures method are there, like analytical method. So it depends on the some mathematical equations, simulation modeling, and experimentation method. One of the famous experimentation method is a beer distribution game. So if you search through the net, you can see what's the beer distribution game. For the time being, I'm not going to the details of that beer distribution game. In brief, I can say each person will take the role of a retailer, wholesaler, distributor, and manufacturer, and they will act as, and they will place the orders. They are getting the orders. Their order are fulfilled like that. Then finally, we can measure all this measure: fill rate, bullwhip effect, total cost, like that. So that is known as a role play game, beer distribution game. Now, let us give on, as I mentioned, the AI concept. What is happening? Supply chain currently. That also we need to take into account. So recently there was an article which is related to the role of smart manufacturing, role of AI in smart manufacturing. That is actually an initiative started by the IBM and the Hindu. The purpose is to how the AIs are implemented, how we can improve or how we can convert the manufacturing smarter by implementing the artificial intelligence concept in manufacturing. So as I mentioned, the supply chain is also a subset of manufacturing concept. So by implementing the supply chain concept, we can improve the manufacturing scenario also. Now, when we come to the supply chain, the AI helps in transforming the way of industrial engineering approaches logistic, inventory management, and distribution. So where we can apply this AI in supply chain management, which is helpful for sourcing, assessment, procurement, supply chain risk mitigation. So risk mitigation means if any something happen, some agitations or some natural calamities or happen, that we can be mitigate by the implementation, because AI can take the data, previous data, can predict it. So accordingly we can build the model. Then the model can responding to the, accordingly the model can respond, then we can prepare a good forecast, so the error will be less. Then it will be helpful for the procurement and inventory accuracy, distribution, transport and logistic coordination, customer relation, sustainable and ethical conscious practice. So all this can be achieved through implementing AI in supply chain management. So these concepts are I have taken from this paper which is recently published, how we can implement AI in supply chain management. So those who are interested in research, you can look into this kind of papers. And I have one video also regarding how the AI is implemented effectively in supply chain management. I will show at the end. Now we're coming to the Indian supply chain management scenario. The Indian supply chain is around $215 billion US dollar worth, and experiencing a CAGR of 10.5%. So annually you are getting compound annual growth of 10.5%. That is the view of Indian supply chain. So when we talk about supply chain, not only supply chain logistic management is also there. So that all together consists of around 215 billion US dollars. Now the logistic cost is around 14% of GDP, which translates to almost 400 billion US dollars. So it is improving day by day. Efficiency is improving day by day. So where we are all invested. So out of this 14%, 6% in the transportation area, and 4% in the warehousing, and 3% in the inventory, and 1% in the order processing. Now we have some examples which shows where AI is implemented successfully. Now one example is the success stories. The Tata Steel, they implemented AI-powered predictive maintenance system, which helpful to 20% reduction in the unplanned downtime and improved product quality and cost saving. That's an Indian company. Another is the Bajaj Auto. They implemented AI system. It enhanced the quality control and efficiently strengthened the competitive edge. Another company used Maruti Suzuki AI in supply chain optimization, 14% reduction in the production cost, 30% reduction in the unplanned downtime. And another company, Asian Paints, they used AI concepts for the demand forecast and inventory, 20% improvement in the forecast accuracy, and increased customer satisfaction and cost efficiency. Now, Godrej, they also implemented AI concepts for the predictive maintenance process optimization, which leads to 15% increase in the production efficiency, 10% reduction in the operational cost. So these are some success stories who implemented AI in the manufacturing and supply chain scenario. So nowadays, what we are seeing is that the transition of earlier we have up to previous years also, we have a concept of adding AI with any of the stream, so the mechanical engineering plus AI. Okay, then electrical engineering plus AI. So we are implementing. But nowadays we are thinking about AI in front of them. That is where AI is combined into heart of the business process. So we keep in future there is a chance there is a mix up of the core field and AI concept. So such that we can identify, but is possible to separate which is the AI concept, which is the modern concepts in the manufacturing area. Such concepts are coming. So that much level AI implemented in all the real life field and also in the supply chain in the manufacturing field. Now, just I want to so what is next in the industrial AI? So for that, just AI evolution happening. In the up to 90s, we have the classical AI. Then we use the predictive AI. Predictive AI means we are using data set to model. Then that model is to predict the future events. Then now we are running on the era of generative AI because we are using ChatGPT or Midjourney. All that are known as the generative AIs. Because what we are doing when we are giving a prompt, we are getting the output in required format. In backend, so many processing is happening. When you have some results is coming, showing is that it's because that results are generated based on some data, historic data which is inputted to that system. So that's why it is not the generative way. Based on the available data, the chat GPT or Midjourney or any such kind of systems are producing a new results based on the available. That is known as the generative AI. So the future, what is coming? We have agentic AI, artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence. So all this will come to our supply chain. So it is not a core field dependent only. There will be an involvement of the AI concepts, our blockchain concepts, our Internet of Things concepts. So all will be come into action. So that's why we'll have a involvement from the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and blockchain concepts. So these are the things, the role of AI in supply chain management. And I understood the second section was just speedy because just I want to cover some topics from the SCM inventory management, also from the concepts regarding the what is happening in the currently, because initial slides are okay, but that is only basic things regarding the supply chain. But if you want to work or if you want to do the research, something you do know in extra, you must have an idea about it, what are the AI techniques, artificial intelligence, what is the role of AI in supply chain management. So that's why I included this topic also in presentation. So anyway, I will share this PPT if you need. Then with this, I am stopping from my side. So if you some theoretical aspects also you need, you can prefer this textbook. The Supply Chain Management by Sunil Chopra and Peter Mendel. One more book, just I mentioned that during the definition of SCM, that is a supply chain medicine Levy, that also helpful to understand the basic concepts in the supply chain. Now, some of the National Level Institute offering PG course industrial engineering. In that industrial engineering, one of the subfields you can choose as SCM. Now, all the work is happening not conventionally. All are integrated with the modern tools, AI tool, machine learning, deep learning. So when we talk about the AI, the subset of AI is the ML. The ML subset is the DL. DL subset is the current which is going generative AI, and further coming is, as I mentioned, genetic AI is coming. Like that, the technology is growing. So with this, I am stopping. Now the time for discussion. If you want further clarification, we can discuss now. So sorry for my side, some disturbances in between, and also the second part was somewhat speedy to cover some topics, and also if time permits, if you are interested, I will show the videos. We can go through some questions or discussions.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, what are the relevance of industry control rules in inventory management?
So actually, the inventory management, as I mentioned, the controlling the inventory in the supply chain. So how we can control? As there is a term, management is there, control is there. Control is means the rules are there. The rules, man, there are rules must answer two questions, such that when to order, how much to order. And when we go through the literature, we can see that some of the rules, some you may be aware about when you study in the UG course, that is the periodic review system and periodic system and the fixed order system, P system and Q system. So in the P system, the period remains same. The Q system, the quantity remains same. So the selection of the proper correct inventory control rule will manage the inventory in the proper manner. That is the importance. And I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, clear, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Okay, okay, sir.
Sir, again, during the session, you have explained about the SCM,
Yes, sir.
supply chain management.
Okay, sir.
So, is there any kind of new technologies that we can integrate along with the SCM?
Yes, sir. Just I will show that's in this last slide. Just I mentioned. This is the new technology. Mainly, when we are new technology, we are mainly focused on the AI. The AI. Firstly, we started with the ML, machine learning and deep learning. What we are doing the ML. Suppose we want to make a forecast in the supply chain. The forecast always depends on the previous data. So we can depends upon the ML models to make the forecast. So that we are integrating this new technology, that is the AI concept in your supply chain. That is a one level. That is a so data set, and that is a concept of ML. Suppose you want to further, you want to move, you want the deep learning, you can go. More refined decisions will be come out. More defined decisions will be come out. So such that we can improve your model, so the prediction will be more. And that also helpful to any risk is happening in the supply chain, because we all are familiar feel the what is happening in the COVID scenario. So there are a lot of papers which is published, the what is the impact of COVID in supply chain management. What they are doing, they during that period, they collected a lot of data using this ML model or DL model. They prepared data, they prepared so many models, then they predict some results. So that results are, that is importance of AI in supply chain. And also we can use Internet of Things, IoT things can be integrated into the supply chain to take the control of the smart devices, that by using sensors. And next concept is the blockchain concept, that is used in the traceability of the product flow. That also helpful. So these techniques can optimize the integration of the activities in the supply chain, newer technologies. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's okay, sir. Clear. It's clear. So these things implemented after, especially after COVID.
No, it is a we can large literatures are, if we go through the literature, most of the literatures are coming after this COVID scenario, because as I mentioned the slide, the you look into this slide, this predictive AI concepts, predictive AI concept started around 90. It is at the top level in the 2020. So with the COVID, around that COVID scenario. So the generative AI models are started on that area. So in that period, 2020 to 25 regions, there are a lot vast collection of data set is there. So for that, because when you are preparing a model, if the data is very large, then our model will be more accurate. That's important. Because we are the human beings, when data is more, we are exhausted. We can't take a decision. But a machine, it is very good for a machine. So that's why these technologies mostly come into action. Maybe you can say that after the COVID scenario and all.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. I think if the participants has no other question, we can move to the Thanksgiving session. Prashop, sir.
As we come to the conclusion of today's morning insightful and enriching session on Introduction to Supply Chain Management, a heartfelt vote of thanks to Dr. Joby sir, your esteemed for our esteemed resource person, for sharing your expertise and illuminating our understanding of supply chain management. Your presence has been a privilege, and we were grateful for your valuable contributions to the success of this FDP. Thank you so much, Joby sir, for your informative session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben sir, and the organizers of this FTP and all the participants for patiently listening my elementary things regarding supply chain management. I know this is only elementary things, not any mathematical things, just to give an introduction regarding supply chain. And those who are interested in further research can take this as a getting a definition regarding SCM. So once again, thanks for so many disturbances in between. So as I mentioned, if you record, I will share the PPT, and you need further assistance from my side, you can contact my contact mail ID and phone number. So thank you once again. Thank you, Ben sir, and the coordinators.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
The feedback form is given in the WhatsApp group.
So I am leaving, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So the afternoon session we will start by 1:30 p.m. Okay, thank you.